Welcome to Revolutionize Your Marketing. My name is Sue Roskoff, and I am here with the World of Ability Podcast Network. And today, as always, on Fridays, 4 o'clock Central, 5 o'clock Eastern, be here because this is where you get to revolutionize your marketing. John Petros Sr. is the host of our show, and he is amazing. You're going to love all the great things he has to share, and we have a special guest joining us as well, so stay tuned to find out who is here joining us. But again, this is Revolutionize Your Marketing, and here to host is John Petros Sr. John, how are you?
I'm doing good, Sue, and you.
I'm great. So good to see you.
Good to be here again.
Excellent. Have a great show. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Welcome, folks, to Revolutionize Your Marketing. I'm John Petros Sr., host of the show and owner of Mill City Marketing MA. And I'm going to go over real quick, start the show, three important parts of marketing. Right. Read my notes here. When we think of marketing at Christmas time, it's easy to focus on discounts, decorations, and delivery deadlines. But the brands that truly stand out at this time of the year do three things exceptionally well. The first is they lead with emotion. Christmas isn't a shopping season, it's a feeling. The most successful campaigns tap into emotions like nostalgia, generosity, joy, and human connection. Think of the heartwarming John Lewis ads or the Coca-Cola's festive trucks. These aren't just ads, they're stories that they're telling you. Second is they master timing and urgency. Holiday success hinges on when you market as much as it does how. Early campaigns built anticipation, strategic use of countdowns, flash deals, and shipping deadlines create a sense of urgency that drives action. The best brands make every moment of the season count. And thirdly, they go omni-channel. By that, it means today's consumers move seamlessly between social media, websites, stores, and even emails. Brands that align their messages across all touch points, paid ads, content, influence marketing, and even in-store displays create a cohesive experience that builds trust and drives consumers. So whether you're a global brand or a local shop, the winning formula is clear. Connect emotionally, plan strategically, and show up everywhere. That's my tip for the Christmas season, folks. So, like Sue was saying, we have a special guest tonight, Dr. Caryn Willens. Come on in, Caryn.
Hi, how are you today, John?
I hope I pronounced that right.
Yes, you did. You did very well, thank you.
All right. Well, let's start off and let people know who you are, where you're from, and how you got to do what you're doing, because it's an interesting topic.
Okay, well, there's a lot of information in there, so I'm going to make it as brief and concise as possible. Um, as you heard, my name is Caryn Willens. Okay, I have a PhD in natural health, and that's why I have the designation of doctor. And I came by that. That's my current career. My first career was as a dental hygienist. So I've been involved in health for a long time, just different forms of it. Through some challenges I've had health-wise for myself, which started about 40 years ago. I had a debilitating disorder that I was told I'd have for the rest of my life. And I was too young to do that. So it's like, no, I can't live like this. There's got to be another way. And so I actually sat in a hospital bed for 8 days and talked to God, okay, higher power, the Lord, whoever you want to believe in, okay. I said, if you help me find the way to get well, I'll help anybody I can. I didn't know that it was starting me out on a journey that would take me through the next several decades of my life. I continued to have that disability, but I was getting answers. And it was very interesting to me. The first answer that I got was the emotional connection with physical wellness, which was something totally new to me. And I delved into it and I embraced it. A number of years later, I actually became certified as a facilitator for personal growth, which is the emotional connection with physical wellness. And John, I could relate to what you were saying about the holidays, okay? Because this is an emotional time of year for, many reasons for many people. And tapping into those emotions is what drives us. It's what moves us forward. And it moved me forward in a big way so that I became a facilitator and I teach workshops. I have taught workshops. I've done them in person, on Zoom. I will do one-on-one with some of the techniques with some of my clients. So I do work one-on-one, okay? But that wasn't what brought me to the naturopathy degree, okay? About 15 years after discovering that emotional connection with physical well-being, sick again. And again, a very debilitating disorder while I still had the first one. And I actually had to retire from dental hygiene. And I said, okay, I'm not going to live on Social Security for the rest of my life. This isn't going to work. And I went back to school to learn how to get well naturally. I had an objection to drugs, and besides which my body does not like drugs. My body doesn't like chemicals of any kind. And I believe in doing things naturally. And I went back to school. I learned a lot, and I still wasn't getting well. And then I came across a company that had some technologies that are non-invasive, non-toxic, and those products actually helped me start getting well. It happened over time, okay, and I continued, and it's a wonderful community I'm part of, and they are international. And they promote a healthy balance in life, in mind, body, relationships, finances, and community. And isn't that all encompassing with what goes on every day? And so I embraced that as well to create the balance in my life. And I no longer have the first disability. I'm working on the second one. Okay. And I am so much better that I can now function. A year and a half ago, I moved from the western side of Wisconsin to the eastern side of Wisconsin. So there was a big move. Okay. What I discovered along the way is that there's one commonality for everything emotional and physical. That includes relationships, it includes finances, and it includes community. That single thread is called stress. And that's what I work with. When we're stressed, we don't do self-care. And self-care is extremely important, especially as we add years to where we have been. And so I have learned techniques that balance energy and help support the nervous system under stress. And I can do that individually or for groups, actually. I just learned a new technique a couple of weeks ago.
There you go. Always got to learn.
Exactly. I love learning. And I know there are many people who love learning. There are many people who just quit after a while, but it's like life is boring to me that way. So anyway, that's what I do. I help people balance their energy so that they can balance their lives and do more self-care than more stress management.
And in the process, it's relaxing when you
Very,
do that.
very. I'll tell you, I sit back and I work with my clients and I can hear the stress in their voices when we're talking. And some of them, they actually stop breathing. Did you ever notice how when you're under stress, you forget to breathe?
Yep.
And I can actually hear that on the phone with them. So everything I do is remote. Okay. I went from working in person to working remotely. COVID really precipitated all of that, but I was headed in that
It did.
direction anyway. Okay. And
Yep.
so now I have transformed my business. And I was talking to Kurt earlier today, and we were talking about marketing. Everything I did before was word of mouth. Okay. Because I was seeing clients one on one. Well,
Yeah.
I want to work globally. Word of mouth is not effective if you want to eat. Okay. It
True.
creates a little stress.
True.
Yeah, it creates a little stress. And so I'm learning new marketing techniques. So John, I'm really interested in what you have to say. Okay, because I am a student now of marketing.
I've got a lot to teach.
Great. I already took some notes.
I've got concepts that a lot of marketers haven't even gotten into.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. So that's my story. Okay. It's a little bit of a long saga, but you got the Cliff Notes version of it. Okay. Um, and I'm just so excited and so thrilled with what I'm doing. I just created a 366-day calendar. And this, I've wanted to do a self-care journal, to create a self-care journal for a couple of years, but it just wasn't coming together. And so I used my own techniques. And I woke up one morning and the words calendar, make a calendar came into my head. And I went, what am I supposed to do with
Hmm.
that? And so I sat down, okay, and I went, oh, let's do affirmations, self-care tips, nutrition tips, reflection, thoughts,
Hmm.
okay, for every day of the year. And that's what I just
Uh,
completed. It's been a big project that I've been working on for several months. And I actually have someone who's working on getting it up online for me right now. And this is my passion because it was the first thing that I learned that helped me start getting well. And
hmm.
so now I'm looking at marketing the calendar. And this time of year is perfect for it because it starts
Yeah.
January 1st.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is, like they say, just a season.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So I'm very excited about that because it will help people with their own personal growth. They don't have to go to a weekend retreat. Okay. Those can be
Mhm.
costly, they're time
Yeah.
consuming. You know, this they can do every day if they want to. They can skip a day if they want to. Okay. If life gets too busy, which it does. And
Oh,
then if
yeah.
they want to, they can catch up on the weekend with what they missed, you know. And then at the end of each month, there are reflections and thoughts. And then there's always an assignment, an action assignment of something they want to carry, a new habit they want to carry into the next month. So by the end of the year, you have
Hmm.
12 new actions that have become part of who you are in straightening out some things that were out of balance. And that's what I'm excited about and learning how to market.
Yeah, learning how to market can be a lot of fun. Does take some work getting used to it, but yeah. Um, that's why I actually got involved in marketing believe it or not, by going on vacation.
I'd
So
love to
where do
hear
I
that
get
story.
started?
I'd love to hear that story, John.
I'll give you the shortened version of it. Well, kind of short. Um, Years back, me and my wife took a cruise from Boston to Bermuda, a week cruise, and we had young twins with us at the time, so we had to get a two-bedroom suite on the cruise ship. And I'll tell you this all. Once you get a suite on the cruise ship, you get spoiled. You don't go with anything less. Get a butler service 24/7. All you have to do is pick up a phone, push a button, and he answers the phone. You get special dining at times, all kinds of special privileges. And I enjoyed it so much, I wanted to help other people enjoy vacationing, so I became a travel agent. Hooked up with an international host company. They gave me a website, back office, kept specials up to date on it. I said, this is great. I get people in, I'll get clients in from through them. Let me tell you, it didn't work that way. Not a one. I heard people putting ads on Facebook. I said, well, how difficult can it be? So I went in and I fudged my way through it, put a couple of ads out there, got a couple of clients, but nothing really paid off. And then, like you said earlier, COVID hit. It was not the time to start a travel business.
Oh,
So right after COVID, I was on Facebook one day and this guy had an ad out there he had a marketing course he was teaching. He was in marketing at that time for 15 years, had some large accounts like Procter& and Gamble, Orange Theory Fitness, um, Dave and Buster's, a bunch of big companies that he's worked with at the time. And it was an online course, 16 weeks, maybe hour and a half, 2 hours, one day a week. So I signed up and took his course. I figured if I'm going to be doing marketing, I might as well learn how to do it. And after the 16 weeks was up, I had to go out to San Diego for graduation. He rented Padre Stadium for the day.
oh my gosh.
That's how big his business was then. Right now, he's got over 300,000 students in 75 countries.
Oh,
So I kind of learned marketing from one of the best.
yeah.
One of his best friends is Damon John from Shark Tank.
Oh, sure.
So that goes to tell you the people he hangs out with are all the people all over the internet.
Yeah.
And it was a good course. Met great people doing it. Of course, being an online course, this face was on screen almost every week. So we're all gathering outside the ballpark before the graduation. I had people walking up to me, knew who I was, where I was from, and what I did. I had no idea who these people were. Even a NFL Super Bowl champ that I met that took the course.
Wow.
Uh, I still keep in contact with them occasionally online. Um, I met really interesting people. Some of them I've helped. uh, Some of them have helped me. Some of them I've helped. Um, Once you get into marketing, it's just incredible the people that you meet. It's like right now, for the last a little over 2 years now, I've been on a business platform known as Alignable. And that's a business to business networking. In about a year's time, they went from 3 million businesses across the US and Canada to now they're up around 9 million. So there's a lot of people on that platform to get it connected with, to work with, partner with, refer clients to and from. So that's where I spend a lot of my time now. That's, I'll tell you a little story too, which Kurt loves this story. I was working with a client down in North Carolina. She was starting up a nonprofit. She was working with different people in different aspects from Alignable. And she was doing a podcast with Kurt. And I think at one point she kind of got depressed it wasn't growing as fast as it was. She was doing a podcast with Kurt. I was hopping on the podcast with her, and a couple of other people were. Well, I think she kind of got depressed. Her nonprofit wasn't growing as fast as she had hoped. 3 weeks in a row, she did not show up for the podcast. I did. A couple of other people would pop in here and there. Well, the third week, Kurt goes, John, have you ever thought of doing a podcast? I said, well, I've been thinking about it. Why? He goes, good. You want to start now? My first podcast was 10 minutes after he asked me that question. I've been doing this every week since.
How long has that been?
We've been trying to figure that out. I think it's been over a year now, or close to a year. I think a little over a year. I think I was doing it at Christmas time last year.
Well, they say that the best way to do something is to just do it.
Yeah. That's like I keep telling people. You never know who you're going to bump into and where it's going to lead.
Right. Right.
In 2 years, I just yesterday, I crossed 2,000 connections on Alignable. So if I get a business that needs something else besides marketing, guaranteed I got people to connect them to. I'm getting to be a very popular person.
That, you know what? That's a good thing. Okay. When you're in business, it's a good thing.
Yeah. That's why back in December I became an ambassador for Alignable too. So
Oh,
now I do in-person networking up here in New England where I am.
okay.
They set me up with an area that I just keep advertising in, and now we've teamed up with the Boston Alliance, which has I think he's about 2,900 members in his alliance now. In a year's time, I've actually 11 months, I've grown mine to 236 in about a year.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just bringing businesses face to face that don't know each other. I've actually had a couple that have teamed up in a partnership. And it's bringing small businesses together, the name of the game. Refer clients back and forth or partner up and work with clients together even.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting because so I have a master's degree in education with a focus in communication skills. And I'm a rather non-traditional person, okay? I will admit that. And I've done non-traditional learning. While my dental hygiene career was at a traditional university, my master's degree I did through distance learning. And I actually wrote my own program. Okay. And part of the curriculum that I did was in problem solving, negotiating, conflict resolution, so that people could get along. And I've always believed in teamwork. But because of the conflicts that people have, they don't do teamwork. And so what you're talking about on Alignable basically is working together as a team and helping each other. So that's what small business, to me, that's what small business is all about. We can't do it by ourselves. We just
No.
can't. And so I actually love connecting with other small businesses who I can collaborate with, who have services that can help me. In return, I can help keep them keep their well-being going so that they're not losing production time with what they do. You know, to me, it's a beautiful dance. And so I love the fact that you're building, you know, your network so that people can do that.
Yeah. That's right. On Alignable, they have what they call Smart Connects.
Mm-hmm.
It's an hour online and you all get in this big room and they send you off into breakout rooms, usually one-on-one, sometimes three people in a room, for 7 minutes just to talk back and forth, make a relationship, and then you can connect up afterwards and set up one-on-ones. And that's basically how I got over 2,000 connections.
That's great. I love that. What other platforms are you on?
I actually have a page on pretty much every social media platform.
Okay. Do you
Um,
do any articles like for LinkedIn or anything?
I don't, I haven't posted anything on LinkedIn in a while. I gotta
Okay.
get back out there. Um, there's a lot of people that on LinkedIn that are also unalignable. Um, quite a few people actually. I'm finding out. I have to get out there more. Um, but one thing I do want to point out, a lot of people that I'm finding didn't even know about 30-second video commercials on live stream TV. When I got the okay from Disney and they gave me access to their platform and Hulu, because it's the same company basically. I didn't believe what they told me about the price. So the minimum they have is a $500 a month ad spend. So I set up a budget of $500 for the month, and it said that my ad would have roughly just over 12,000 views in a month.
Wow. And what channel
When,
was that?
that's on Disney Plus.
That's what I thought you said.
And when I figured that out, it came out to close to 25 cents per view.
Wow.
Put an ad on Facebook now, it's getting close to $1.75 per click.
Wow.
So yeah, you would think uh, video commercial on live stream would be more expensive.
Yeah.
And I accidentally found that. I was on Facebook one day and an ad came up from Disney looking for people to put ads on their live stream channel. And I said to myself, I said, this can't be right. As big as Disney is, why would they be looking for people to put ads on their live stream? I wasn't going to put the information. There's something in the back of my head, up above, told me fill it out. So I did. 2 weeks later, I got an email from Disney with access to their platform. And that was the only time I saw the ad. The funny part about it is 2 weeks after I got their email giving me access, I got an email from Paramount offering me access to their platform. I don't know where they got my email from, but I can tell you one thing. Paramount is watching what Disney's doing to keep up.
Oh, yeah.
They got
Yeah.
to keep up with the competition.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize Paramount had so many different live stream channels.
You
I
know,
haven't even taken the time to count them.
I don't watch that much TV. I'll be honest with you. I
Yeah,
am I love what I do. So I just work all the time. I connect with people. I do self-care.
yeah,
And I work. That's it because I love what I do.
yeah. You were talking about people dealing with stress earlier.
Mhm.
I used to work for the local newspaper, and I ended up getting. I used to drive one of the trucks delivering bundles, and I got injured in the truck one day, so they put me on the light duty in customer service temporarily, temporarily the, until the company let me go years later. But I ended up becoming assistant manager of customer service. You want to talk about stress? At that point, I was seeing my doctor probably pretty much at least once a month, if not twice. I was on 5 different high blood pressure medications. And when they let me go, oh, and I was also over 300 pounds, sitting at a desk all day. Um, about 10 years ago, when they let me go, I lost about 60 pounds without trying, got reduced down to 2 high blood pressure medicines, and my blood pressure dropped considerably. Where I see the doctor, unless there's something wrong, maybe twice a year.
Mhm. Yeah, and that is how stress affects the body physically.
Yeah.
That there are more ways too.
So
Okay.
we are living proof of it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, I will be very transparent in what I'm going to say. I very rarely get someplace on time. Okay. And there's a reason for that.
Yeah.
As a dental hygienist, I had to stay on a schedule. When I worked with the kids, I worked with children for about 15 years. That was a hoot. I loved that job. Okay. Hardest job in the world. Okay. But because I had to be really creative, I had to get my job done and I had to stay on time. Okay.
Yeah.
And if the dentist needed to come over and he was running behind, it set me behind. We had kids waiting all over the place for their exams some days, you know, but I loved that part of my job. But when I had to work on the adults, it wasn't fun anymore. Okay.
No.
It became very stressful. And then we had goals that we had to meet because we were bought out by a financial corporation and they started giving us goals to meet. It became so stressful. And then that on top of having to see a patient every hour, okay, and get my work
Yeah.
done on time, it was too much pressure. It was too much stress. And that's what pushed me into the second disability. I said, I
Yeah.
can't do this anymore. And so it's like, I don't wear a watch. I have 2 clocks in my house, okay, besides my phone. And
Hmm.
and that's it. I do my best to get someplace on time, but I do explain to people, I run by my own clock. Okay. I'm never more than 15 minutes late. Okay.
Yeah.
I usually get there on time or within 5 minutes, but the holdover from that stress, okay, is still something I'm working on getting past.
Yeah. But, as you can hear kids in the background, my wife does daycare here, so yeah,
Oh,
like you said, having kids around can make things really fun and
yeah,
at times not.
yeah, I hear you.
So, but yeah, that's can be funny and stressful.
It is. But we had, I'll just talk a little bit about what we did in this office, the pediatric office. You know, and this is actually part of what I've incorporated into my wellness practice. Okay. We had a TV. We had 3 hygiene chairs, and there was a TV. Everybody knew I had the chair that was right in front of the TV. And everybody knew that at 11:30 in the morning, no matter what was on TV, or even if the TV was off, Muppets got turned on. That was it. I had to watch the Muppets because you never knew what they were going to do. And it was so creative. The Muppets themselves are creative. And that's part of what we have to do to counteract stress. Okay.
Yeah, it's
We
true.
have to be creative, but then in the vicious cycle of stress, the stress diminishes our ability to be creative.
Yeah,
It We lose our sense of humor. And those are the good, you've heard of endorphins. Okay, endorphins are the happy chemicals, all right, that counteract the cortisol. And they're so necessary, especially in the times that we live in. People are so darn serious. It's like
Yeah.
we have to lighten up. And so that's part of what I teach is I teach people to look at the positive side of things. One of my favorite comedians of all time is Victor Borga. He was a talented musician, okay? But you very rarely heard him play a sonata or a piece like Chopin, okay? From the beginning to
Yeah.
the end without interruptions.
Hmm.
And he had other things that he did that he created that were so creative. You just have to stop and pause and enjoy that moment. And that's something else that people aren't doing right now. There's so much anxiety. People are not living in the moment. All right. That
Yeah.
doesn't mean ignore the future. All right. But it means enjoy where you are now. If there's something stressful going on, flip it. There's always something positive. There's always something to be grateful for. And
Yeah.
that's part of what I've had to do with my life if I want to continue to get better and keep up with the world. And when I was in dental hygiene, when I was in school, I was running behind one day. I had a difficult patient. And my next patient was there. And it was at lunchtime. And I worked right through my lunch. And the first thing we
Mm.
had to do was counsel our patients on nutrition. And so the second patient that I was going to be seeing, he looked at me and he said, as I'm counseling him, and he said, "And what did you have for lunch?" And it's like, busted. It was not a good answer. And it's like, I learned very early, okay, that if I want my patients to listen to me, I have to walk the talk.
Yeah.
And so that's what I have done since then. And that was a very long time ago. Yeah. So
Yeah.
we have to walk the talk. We have to be true to ourselves.
Yeah.
And when we do, it takes a lot of the stress off anyway.
Yeah. That's like my wife just did a second year of a course, a year-long course to become a life coach. And the girl that teaches the course, about the first half of the course, she's teaching them how to free themselves from what's inside. And then after that, she says right through the whole course, you can't help somebody else unless you help yourself first.
That's right.
And yeah, I catch pieces of her course here and there, so it helps me out too.
That's good. You're getting it through osmosis.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
great. That's great because it does work. I'm living proof.
yeah, it
Yeah.
does.
Yeah.
It's the heart that talks to the mind and the mind that talks to the heart.
There are actually three brains in the body. Most people aren't aware of that. There's the cognitive brain, there's
Yeah,
the heart brain, and then there's the gut brain.
yeah,
And there's been a lot of information out recently about the gut brain and the gut health. Okay.
yeah,
And they all work together, or they're supposed to. Okay. And what you're talking about is sometimes they just don't. They are not congruent, and that's when we have problems. And that's where we have to work on ourselves.
yeah. And yeah, I mean, I didn't think about that much before, but when she started taking this course and I started hearing this stuff, it started making a lot of sense.
Yeah, it does.
That's why if people can just find a course that teaches how to self-evaluate yourself from within,
Yeah,
a lot of the problems that people have most of the time comes from something in their childhood.
100%. 100%.
And that's been a big thing with me too.
Everybody, everybody. It's
Yeah.
amazing. It's amazing how much it affects us. And we grow through it sort of physically, okay, but that it's actually a cellular memory that stays with us. And it will keep replaying that type of scenario into adulthood.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's why a lot of relationships don't work, okay, because you've got conflicting messages in there, and we can't get past those messages to work with the relationship in a positive way.
Yeah. That's why I feel a lot of business owners should take a course on this line because when they work on themselves from within, it clears up the system and allows them to run their business better, more
Yeah,
smoothly and more pleasant to the employees.
yeah. The company that I mentioned before, he's now the owner. He purchased it from the original owner, basically.
I
Um,
forgot to tell you, I did it.
and it's a 50-year-old company. And he's also the CEO and the president. And he is very transparent about his desire for his own personal growth. And he has told us he spends $15,000 a year on his own personal growth. And he promotes it within the company because he knows that's the way to go.
Yeah, yeah. So we're getting close to the time here.
Okay.
Um, Sue, do you have a question or two to pop in with before we leave? There she is.
I just want to say what a wonderful conversation this has been. And I gotta say, Victor Borga, that's a name I haven't heard in a long time, and I love him. That's one that I'm like, I'm gonna have to look up some videos because there's very few that actually compare to him, and it just spurred some thoughts in me again. So I appreciate that very much.
Great.
But
I'm,
yeah,
I'm
you
glad
both
you
have
did. Yeah, it's on YouTube, by the way.
anybody who's not heard of him, go check him out.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, you both have such unique
So,
stories, and I know I've not caught everything from this episode, but that I've heard, it's like, yes, you guys both share so much from the heart, and have so many wonderful experiences that are valuable to anyone who has the chance to hear. So thank you so much both for being here and doing all you do.
Well, thank you, Sue. I've really appreciated the opportunity to share today and to meet John and to share what I truly love.
So John, any
same
final
here.
thoughts for the day?
Outside of the fact that me and Karen have to connect up and talk more.
This is just the beginning.
Yeah, yeah. Um, Good things usually come out of my show. What can I tell you? Uh, but yeah,
Truth,
if
absolute truth.
anybody out there listening or watching the replays likes what you just saw and watched, go onto YouTube, type in Mill City Marketing MA, and watch some of my previous podcasts. There's all different types out there, folks. I've done book reviews. I've even interviewed a 14-year-old girl that just amazes people that listen to her, who's known from the age of 5 what she wanted to do in life. and she's sticking with it at 14 years old. Who carried on a 1 hour conversation with one of my sister-in-laws. Main topic, how the brain works from a 14-year-old. And that's what amazed me that had me get her onto my podcast. So check it out. It's on YouTube, Mill City Marketing MA.
Excellent. I love it. So, and John, how do people find you outside of the YouTube? Where would they go to get information about you?
My email is millcitymarketingma@gmail.com. You can find me on, if you have a business, you can find me on Alignable. I pretty much have a page on every social media out there. Not active on some of them as much as I probably should be, but I do get messages. If you put a message out on Facebook, it pops up on my computer. So I'm easy to get a hold of. Find me anywhere. I mean, how can you miss this face?
I love it. Well, and
We're
Caryn, the
here.
same. Oh,
We're
go
here
ahead.
every Friday at 4 Central and Central, right? Yeah, 4 Central and 5 Eastern every Friday. So come back and watch again live.
Excellent. And Caryn, I wanted to make sure to ask you too, how would people find you?
I'm on Facebook, LinkedIn. My email is a good way to reach me. It's health, HEALTH, and then there's a hyphen. And the second word is naturally, NATURALLY, and I'm at live.com.
Excellent. What a pleasure this has been. I absolutely love this. And like John said, every Friday at 4 o'clock Central, 5 o'clock Eastern, we are here for Revolutionize Your Marketing. And this is where you can do just that. So come on back next week for more insight, more wonderful guests. And again, part of the World of Ability Podcast Network. My name is Sue Roskoff, and it has been such a privilege to be here. Thank you so much, John and Caryn, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
See what you missed, Sue, by not being here every week.